Jacko here, welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel looking to change the way we breathe to improve the way we feel, move and perform. And this video is all about performance and looking at how are we breathing and should be encouraging to ourselves to breathe during physical exercise. The main headline encouragement is going to be using your nose to breathe. If you haven't come across nasal breathing yet, for the benefits for exercise, where have you been? I've done another video on this already, so you can check that one out. And the reason nasal breathing is so important and beneficial during exercise, whatever it is the exercise that you're doing, is that the nose being smaller than the mouth provides about 50% more resistance to the air coming in. Now you might think, well, why do I want to add resistance in? But the reason is we want to slow our breathing rates down. Breathing longer, bigger breaths gets more oxygen more efficiently into the cells where they need to be. That panting breath doesn't help you get oxygen into the cells more as efficiently as breathing slower. So using the nose to slow our breathing rates down might be a little bit more challenging because there is some resistance. Those breathing muscles need to be able to train to be able to do them, so our diaphragm and intercostals. But ultimately, the research has shown that it can help to improve oxygen uptake in the cells by up to 20%. So don't feel anything like me, getting more oxygen into the cells when I'm exercising is going to be a massive benefit and something that I'm going to want. If it's as big as 20%, then that is something we are going to want to do. Now, when you're starting and for the very first time, if you've not used your nose that much before for physical exercise, it's going to probably feel a bit blocked and it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But promise you, stick with it. 6 to 12 weeks of continuing to work on nasal breathing during your exercise, your nose will start to become unblocked and it will start to become more natural and normal for you to start to breathe through the nose. And you're really going to start to feel those benefits. So your very first session, you're not potentially going to feel those benefits. It's going to feel like a challenge because, like anything in life, using the nose, it's a use it or lose it scenario. So start using it. Yes, it'll be a challenge initially, but there are some things we can do. One is knowing that as you use it more in all of your day-to-day activities, it's going to be easier for you to use your nose whilst you're exercising as well. The other thing is there's a nose unblocking drill that you can do where we do a simple breath hold and we nod the head. There's a separate video for that. I'll put that, a link to there somewhere on the screen to that video so you can watch that one back. I've got two other little tips for us when we're trying to make sure we're nasal breathing. When we start initially and when our exercise intensity gets too difficult, we'll end up, it'll be like sucking, and you'll see the nose will close up on itself because you're trying to drag too much air in and suck in through the nose, or with the sucking in with the nose rather than letting the air come in through the nose. And that's because the intensity that we're working at might be a little bit too challenging for us. One little thing, ultimately we're going to want to slow our breathing rates down, but one little thing you can try is to create a little bit of tension around the nose. So we can tuck the top lip underneath the teeth, just gently. And just by doing that, you're going to sound funny when you're talking, but just by doing that, you create a little bit of tension, and then you can see that you try that now yourself. That opening up of the bottom of the nose allows you to keep a little bit of tension across down towards the lip. Allows that hole to stay a little bit open. So when you try to breathe in faster, it doesn't close off on itself quite the same. So that's one little tip you can do when you're getting started. But ultimately, the other thing is that when you're running, say you're running and you're working hard and you've not used your nose much, it can be a bit of a snot fest to start with. That does go away eventually, and so having your mouth closed and the lips like that also stops the snot from coming into your mouth as well. So there's a little bonus tip for you. Another thing you can try are these breathe right strips. What they do is work across the nose to open the airway up a little bit. They look like this. You peel it and it goes across the nose. What it does is lifts and pulls up a little bit to allow a little bit more space. And as you breathe in, you'll notice that you can get a little bit more air in. A nice little way to test whether that is going to be useful for you is that if you put your fingers either side of your nose and pull apart slightly, and then breathe in. So that's essentially what that breathe right strip is doing. If that feels easier for you, then you can try it. That was probably going to be beneficial for you when you're starting to exercise. But ultimately, what we want you to do is you want to allow your nose to dictate the intensity you're working at. Don't let your intensity to start with be so difficult that your nose is closing in itself. You're having to, those two little tips, the strips or tucking the top lip underneath your teeth, that can help you get going, but we don't want to be relying on it. What we want to be able to do is be able to slow our breathing rates down, longer, bigger breaths, meaning that the nose isn't going to close in on itself. Those less breaths per minute is also going to help us get that better oxygen delivery into the into the cells that are working, so that you can go for longer and feel like you're not having that level of breathlessness where you're fatiguing and having to stop or slow down. It's something we need to start with slowly and build our way up as we switch to nasal breathing, but 6 to 12 weeks of continuing to do that, you're going to see the benefits, and you're really going to be able to go for longer, recover faster, and the exercise intensity that you'll be able to finally build up to work towards will be far greater than what you would have been able to do breathing only through the mouth with that fast panting breath, which is less efficient and doesn't get as much oxygen per minute into the cells where you need them when you're exercising. So in essence, we want you to try to breathe through the nose as much as you can in your day-to-day activities so that you can use it more effectively when you're exercising. Try to slow your breathing rates down rather than sucking air in through the nose. Try to slow the breathing down. Just because you increase your running intensity or exercise intensity doesn't mean that breathing has to go up so quick. To start with though, let your nose dictate the intensity that we work at and build that up slowly over 6 to 12 weeks, and you will definitely be reaping the benefits. Really interested to know how you get on with it. Let me know. Like, the first few weeks can be a bit of a snot fest and a bit of a challenge. Put in the comments or any questions, or equally let me know how you're getting on, and then in a few weeks time, as you build up to those sort of 6 to 12 weeks, you're going to be feeling great, and you're going to be seeing some really big improvements in your training, exercise intensity and performance. So I'd love to hear from you on that. And if you have any questions at all, obviously put them in the comments below. Love to connect with you, or if you want to email me directly, my email is davidjacksonfitness@gmail.com, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.